everybody, Blue Dooley, and I apologize for not having a video last week. I didn't have the mic plugged in quite far enough, so there was no audio on everything I recorded last weekend. Double check the setup is correct this morning. It is Christmas Eve, and we're back out working on the snowplow again. If you saw my short little video, we did get the blade to lift and set down. I'm going to jump in here with some footage that I did film even though there's no sound. I sped it up quite a bit, so we're working at about 6 times speed. I have magnets holding the plow in position. The piece of tubing was pinned into the frame, and then I had a little piece of steel underneath the exhaust tubing to raise that up off the bench a little bit, because I put a cutting edge on the plow so it's actually serviceable like a real plow, and that cutting edge is a little thicker than the exhaust tubing and puts a little more weight down low. So moved over to the vise so I could finish tacking it in. I tried to give it a little bit of a more aggressive curl on the driver's side of the truck, like some highway department plows have, because you primarily push snow over to the shoulder. And not 100% happy with the way it came out, but after a test today, I am happy with the way the plow is working. So I thought I'd throw in this video or footage just of me welding it up. We're gonna finish welding it up, and then I'm gonna slow the video back down and do a little voiceover as I show you the welds that we just got done doing. And there's the dog and the wife. Gonna whip the camera over here, take a look at my ugly welds. I don't weld enough to get really good at it. I just weld enough to kind of do what I need to do. And I wish they were a little prettier, but I can grind them up a little bit with the Dremel, make them look a little better. The difference between the exhaust tubing, which is what the blade is made out of, and the square stock, or square tubing, I'm not sure why, but the exhaust tubing just didn't take the heat as much as that square tubing did, as you can see by the coloration of the welds on the square tubing. The front of the blade, you can see a few spots where it did get hot, but not like the square tubing. And so far today, I have gotten the servo mounted for the angle. Pretty happy with that, the way it's turned out. I have a really tiny, like, not quite micro, but mini monster truck shock on it, a cheap one. It's just a spring, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out for servo saver, but it does keep the blade from hitting the servo too hard. With weight on it, the spring isn't quite strong enough to push it. So, not sure how that's going to work. It is a really weak spring, so that'll need a little adjusting, but I need it to bring this side closer just a little bit, so I'm not sure if I need to get a little bit longer servo horn or change where my contact point on the plow is to get a little more angle out of it. We'll bring you to the side and you can check it out that way. All I do, like I said, I have a small shock on there. It's not very strong. I just welded a little piece of rod here because I figured the only one end needs to bolt down. And it clears the road a little bit. A little closer than I thought it was going to end up being. But there's enough room. I'm not terribly worried about it. That servo is waterproof. And it shouldn't get too much water splashed up on it. As you can see, my bolt holes for the cutting edge didn't quite get evenly drilled. That's partially due to where the welds are on the backside. As you can see that spring's just fully compressed right now. So that will need a little bit of tweaking, but the servo's mounted nice and solid on one end, and the lift servo's working good. Now I just need to trim some pieces up and start getting everything mounted back to the chassis. And I think we're going to get the cab on at least, get the hood on, and maybe go out for a little bit of a test push. Well, here we are. The dump bed is hooked up and bolted to the frame. There's two countersunk bolts there, and then there's two up there at the top. Dump bed's definitely not going anywhere. And you haven't seen it in video yet, but my battery box, my 3D printed battery box, I have printed out. I don't have the lid printed out yet, but it's going to look like it from the side. Basically, a hydraulic tank. Put the cab back on, we're going to put the hood back on, and it's snowing, so I think we ought to go find some snow and try to push some snow with it. The only thing not currently hooked up at the moment is the diff locks, but all other functions are connected, so let's get the hood on, and I'll do a quick function test out here in the garage so you can kind of see everything, and then we'll go outside and play in a little snow, I think. There's a lot of weight on them front tires. They're compressed quite a bit. There's the bed function. I need to tuck some wires out of the way a little more for it to clear good. Steering works really good even with the plow up. Plow function. And of course plow down. So I think what we need to do is find some snow. Okay, we got maybe ½ inch of snow so far. So let's angle the blade, drop her down, and push some snow. Diff lock. She's spinning a little. Let me throw some weight in the back, and that might help us get a little more traction. That should give us of course, the tires aren't glued. You're driving with stick radio again. might be the most fun I've had plowing snow. Let's just our plow the other way. It's pretty wet snow, so. Might be a little too wet for this truck. Well, that's going to do her. First test of the snowplow. It'd push a lot better if I had diff lock, and apparently I'm missing a drive pin in the rear driver's side tire. But the plow works good. Thumb's stuck. There we go. First test with the plow. Beautiful day. It's Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to everyone that celebrates Christmas. Happy holidays for all the other winter solstice holidays that are this time of year. Hope everyone, if you're traveling, travel safe. Leave yourself extra time. Don't get in a hurry because the roads are going to be crappy depending on where you are. I guess I'm going to finish shoveling the walk the boring way. And we'll catch you in the next video. Later.